guys, this is Megan from Little Hot Tamale, and today we are going to make a Memorydex tray. To start off, we are going to use a piece of poster board that measures 10.5 inches by 13 inches. And we are going to score at 1.5 inches, 3 inches, 7.5 inches, and 9 inches. Now, since our poster board is a little bit larger than most scoreboards, you just slide your paper up and continue the score lines. Okay, so we're going to rotate our paper and score again at 1.5 inches, 3 inches, and now this is just going to be a little bit different, 10 inches, and 11.5 inches. Okay, so next we are going to cut off the corners. Now if you look closely, the corners are made up of 4 squares, and you need to cut off the outer squares. When you're cutting your paper, I recommend cutting on the inside of the concave or convex line, depending on what side of the paper you're looking at. That way it'll be a lot neater and you won't have that little bubble on your paper when you fold it later on. Okay, so you're just going to do that on every corner. Okay, so you should have one mini square left on each corner. Now we're going to cut a small angle off of each one of those squares. So it'll be on the left and the right side. And these will be vertical, not horizontal, so you're just going to flip your paper over and do the same thing to the other side. Okay, so this would be a good time to point out, if you haven't recognized this yet, it's very similar to the pizza box we made a few weeks ago. We're just not using the lid part. Okay, so we're just going to crease all of our folds, nice and crisp. Okay, so we're going to start at the bottom first, and the bottom is the side that is the shortest. So you're going to take your little tabs, those are the ones that we took the little angles off of, and we're going to put that on the inside, and then we're going to fold the top piece over the top. So you're just going to hide those tabs. And I find that the easiest way to hold it in place is to hold the box with your hand from underneath. I'll be doing this in a second. There you go. And then you take your stapler and have the top of your stapler touch the bottom of the box. That way all the staples are in a row all the way around. Then we're just going to fold the other sides over the top and into the inside and repeat. And I recommend using 3 staples on the longer side. So 1 on each side and then 1 in the center. There you go, super easy and fast. Next you will need a 4.5 inch piece of chipboard. Now if you don't have chipboard, you can use cereal boxes, and if they're kind of thin you can always glue them together. And then to make the holes, you can use a standard hole punch or a cinch. If you're using a hole punch, I recommend making a template. And to do that, you'll need a piece of paper that measures 4.5 inches, and then you're just going to fold that piece of paper in half and measure at 1 3/4 inches. And then you're going to turn your paper and mark at 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch on the other side. You make a line connecting the 1/4 inches, and where the lines meet, that is where you place your circle and punch. That way you only have to measure once. And if you're using a cinch, you need to move your ruler over 1/4 inch and then have your pegs 3 and 5 pushed in. Take your piece of chipboard and punch your holes on one side and then the opposite side. Then you'll go back and cut your chipboard to the right size for your box. Alright, I'm back with my newly trimmed chipboard pieces. So I just measured 3/4 inch from the side with the holes. This will be the size you need if you used a cinch or a hole punch. Okay, so you will need a dowel that measures 3/16 and then you're going to cut it at 7 inches. You can use an X-Acto knife, or you can use a trimmer that's used to cut branches. We'll need 2 dowels that measure 7 inches. And now we're going to paint our chipboard pieces, and I recommend using a color that matches your box. You only need to paint one side of your chipboard and the edges because that is the only thing that's going to show. You can also paint your dowels, but I chose to leave mine natural because I really like the look of that. And I'm doing a few touch-ups on my box where the poster board cracked because it's not a solid black all the way through, so sometimes that happens. So now we're going to take our dowels and place them inside of the holes on our chipboard. Now you want the larger space on the bottom. Now I noticed that you couldn't see anything I was doing, so I remade the box and started over for you. So like I said, you want the larger end, or the bottom part. It kind of looks like the heavier end on the bottom, and then you're going to place both of your dowels inside of it. And now you're going to take your chipboard pieces and put them flush to the bottom of the box and on the side of the box. So now they're kind of like an angle. And then you're going to take your hot glue gun and put the glue on between the side of the box and the chipboard. Now if you pull the box just a little bit, you'll be able to put glue between the side and the dowels. And they'll stay in place. And there you go. Now they're in place. The glue doesn't show. Now we're going to step up our box a little bit and cover up those staples we used in the beginning. So I'm just using Rick Rack trim, and we're just going to glue that on the inside on the 2 sides. Now I use Rick Rack that matched my box. Now it'd be really cute if you used a color that is different. I wanted to use orange, but I didn't have any at the time when I made this. But now it looks really cute, and you can't see the staples. Alright, now we're going to add some fun trim on the outside of our box to cover the other staples. Well, they're the same staples as earlier, but they're the outside version. And this is just some handmade ruffled crepe paper. If you don't know how to make ruffled crepe paper or you don't have any, you can always just use ribbon. Just add a whole bunch of embellishments on the side. It really doesn't matter. It is totally up to you. But if you are using ruffled paper, make sure you have adhesive right where the thread. To create a Memorydex card, you're just going to take your template that you created earlier and have it centered on your piece of paper, and take your hole punch the holes, and then you're going to take your scissors and have a little slit in the bottom. That way your cards will just pop into your tray. We'll also have a blog post talking about how to make Memorydex cards with lots of photos to show you how to create them. And I'll leave the link down below for you. So that is how you make a Memorydex tray. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and if you enjoyed it, please share it with a friend, and I hope you have an amazing day. Toodles!